Okay.
Yeah, we are live
Sure.
now. So, hello everyone. Welcome to another Blue Circle workshop. And we'll just wait for a couple of minutes for everyone to join in. And special thanks to Ritan today for joining us and taking time from his busy schedule. And Ritam, if you can please introduce yourself. And Ritam is a man of many talents, and I'm a fan of the work he does with the Lego. Yeah, over to you, Ritam.
So I keep telling people that I work 10 hours in my office to build IFP, but still people remember me for the thing that I spend least amount of time in a week, which is Lego. So, but for this community, I'm more related in a way that my wife is a Type 1D for last 19 years now. And we have been, like, I've been part of her life for 11 years almost now. So as a part of her life, I am also partly diabetic in terms of that I manage myself according to her food and her schedule, kind of. So yes, that is what largely I do. And 3 years back, we came across this very amazing thing, uh, which was looping, and we never thought that a technology which is outside your body could almost mimic the technology that got built inside your body. So that is what Loop does, and more than that, the community that it has
Bef-
built, the intention with which it was built, I just got
Correct.
in awe. So that's how I started into this. So that's what I do,
Wonderful.
uh, related to
Wonderful.
this
So,
community.
before we get into that, I think just to talk about Ritam has built IFP and other businesses, and he is married to Megha and RJ Megha, and they have a. It's been how long? How many years, Ritam now?
It's been 10 years now. Oh my God, it's been 10 years now.
Wow, a decade.
A decade, yes.
Yeah, and Ritam has been sharing a lot of tips with us and all the caregivers out as well. And anything you want to share us about living with a T1 partner, right, Ritam? Because a lot of people have doubts about should can I live with a T1 partner and what will happen. So just a few words on that.
I think it just requires some little more extra care. But thanks to us living in 21st century, that the technology solves most of the things. So, for example, even when I'm at my office, I can continuously check my wife's sugar levels. There's an alarm which rings in my laptop and my phone both the moment her sugar levels go beyond 80, or go above 250. So in a way, I know what her sugars are performing. Apart from that, I think in a way it's a boon because she manages her food well, and because of that reason, I am also able to manage my food well. She exercises regularly, and because of that reason, I also exercise regularly now. So in a way, I think she tries to have a perfect lifestyle, and I, along with her, also tag along and try to have a perfect lifestyle, which otherwise wouldn't have been a case. So yes, I think a lot of people have this perception, but it's no great difference, to be really honest, except for the hypo days, which are like once in 6 months, which
Once, okay,
once in six
yeah.
months, sometime once in 3 months. Those are the only days that you have to be like there. Sometimes you have to like stay for longer time, not go to office, take a half day to make sure that they are doing good.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that, Ethan. And I can see a lot of people have joined us. Feel free to add any comments in the comment box that you can see, and feel free to ask any questions in the middle or also. And Ritam and me are here to answer all your questions and queries on looping. So we'll just get into it. So uh, आप लोग जो देख रहे हैं आप भी कुछ कमेंट कर सकते हैं एंड वी वांट टू नो फ्रॉम यू एज वेल व्हाट डू यू थिंक लूपिंग इज अबाउट एंड DIY इज डू इट योरसेल्फ आर्टिफिशियल पैनक्रियाज तो हम पैनक्रियाज as you all know, like for type 1, it's not functioning properly. जो हमारे बीटा सेल्स हैं वो नहीं काम करते हैं and we try to mimic that behavior through artificial pancreas through looping. So Reason can talk a little bit more about that. He
Absolutely.
looping. What basically for a layman, what is looping? If I would ask you like, क्या होता है looping?
सो हमारा बॉडी का मैकेनिज्म ऐसे काम करता है कि जब हमारे ब्लड में शुगर बढ़ जाता है, सो हमारा पेंक्रियास डिटेक्ट करता है कि हमारा शुगर कितना बढ़ गया है, एंड उसको नॉर्मल लाने के लिए कितना इंसुलिन देना पड़ेगा, राइट? सो दैट्स अ वेरी बेसिक मैकेनिज्म. सो उतना इंसुलिन हमारा पेंक्रियास रिलीज करता है ब्लड के अंदर, एंड इवेंचुअली द शुगर कम्स डाउन टू अ स्टेबल लेवल. स्टेबल लेवल व्हेन आई से अ टारगेट रेंज जिसमें बॉडी ऑपरेट्स ऑप्टिमली, परफेक्टली, राइट. सो दिस इज हाउ अपना यूजली बॉडी वर्क करता है. अब हम लोग जितने भी लोग पंप पे हैं या जो सिरिंजेस पे हैं, हम लोग इंसुलिन तो लेते हैं. हमारे को ये नहीं पता होता कि हमारा शुगर कितना है, तो हम लोग रैंडमली इंसुलिन लेते रहते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल हम लोग मील पे हमारे को पता है कि हमारे को बेजल, फॉर एग्जांपल हमारा मॉर्निंग में 3 यूनिट सेट है, तो हम 3 यूनिट बेजल पे चल रहे हैं. बोलस हमारे को 4 यूनिट लेना है, हमने 4 यूनिट बोलस ले लिया. बट मोस्ट ऑफ टाइम्स वी आर कंप्लीटली अनअवेयर कि हमारा शुगर उस मोमेंट पे जब हम इंसुलिन ले रहे हैं कितना है, राइट. सो देर वर लॉट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजीज. फॉर एग्जाम्पल पंप एज अ टेक्नोलॉजी है जो आपको हर 5 मिनट में इंसुलिन देता है. अगर आप हाइपो में हो तो भी सेम इंसुलिन देगा, अगर आप हाइपर में हो तो भी सेम इंसुलिन देगा. सिमिलरली सिरिंजेस हैं जिसको हम यूज़ करते हैं. हमारे पास ग्लूकोज मॉनिटर्स होते हैं जिनको हम यूज़ करते हैं. ये ग्लूकोज मॉनिटर्स आपको हर 5 मिनट में डेटा देते हैं. दे टेल यू कि आपका शुगर 120 है, 220 है, 320 है, वॉट एवर इट इज़, हर एवरी 5 मिनट्स दे टेल यू. सो लूपिंग इन अ वे ऐसे काम करता है कि वो जो आपका कंटिन्यूस 5 मिनट में जो डेटा आपके CGM से जो आपके मोबाइल में आता है, उस डेटा से डिसीजन लेता है कि अभी आपको कितने इंसुलिन की ज़रूरत है, और आपके पंप को इंस्ट्रक्ट करता है कि इंसुलिन कितना देना है. सो एवरी 5 मिनट्स आपका जो डेटा आ रहा है और एवरी 5 मिनट्स आपको जो इंसुलिन जा रहा है, उसके बीच में जो कैलकुलेशन का लेयर है कि कितना शुगर है, उस हिसाब से कैसे डेटा वो मैनिपुलेट करता है, एंड कैसे वो कितना इंसुलिन देना है. सो जो फंक्शन आपकी बॉडी अंदर करती है कंटिन्यूसली, वही फंक्शन ये पूरी टेक्नोलॉजी बाहर करती है कंटिन्यूसली. सो
Understood. And
इट्स
just to remind everyone, so this is still not FDA approved. So this hasn't received approvals. Anything that you do with looping is on your own accord, right?
Yes. So looping में it is completely on how we work in terms of there is no, there is a community but there is no FDA approval. So in a way, pharma companies don't want people to get on looping because it brings their HbA1c to a perfect level. All those things. So it's not FDA approved. Yes. In fact, that's the reason कि उसका ऐप भी अवेलेबल नहीं है. आपको उसका सोर्स कोड डाउनलोड करके ऐप क्रिएट करना पड़ता
Correct. Yeah.
है. सो दैट इज द रीजन. बट आई विल जस्ट take people through this entire presentation एक बार of what
Sure,
accordingly
sure.
looping is. So
Yeah.
the journey largely looping कब आता है? अगर आप syringes पर हैं तो आपको पहले पंप पे मूव होना पड़ेगा. अगर आप पंप पे हैं इवेंचुअली तभी आप लूप पे जा सकते हैं. सो आपको ये समझना पड़ेगा कि अगर आप पंप पे नहीं हैं अभी, सो लूप पे जाने के लिए एक स्टेप ये है कि फर्स्ट यू नीड टू गेट ऑन द पंप एंड गेट अ लिटिल कंफर्टेबल. आप कुछ दिन कुछ महीने पंप यूज़ करेंगे, पहले आपको पंप समझ में आना चाहिए कि एक इंसुलिन पंप कैसे फंक्शन करता है, एंड देन द लूपिंग कम्स इनटू प्लेस, राइट. सो दैट इज़ द वेरी फर्स्ट स्टेप. इफ अगर आप पंप पे हैं तो आप लूपिंग कल से ही शुरू कर सकते हैं. अगर आप पंप पे नहीं हैं तो पहले आपको पंप पे आना पड़ेगा, एंड देन आपको लूपिंग के लिए आगे जाना पड़ेगा. लाइक आई सेड कि हम सबकी एक स्ट्रगल होती है टाइप 1 में कि हमारा ग्राफ यूजुअली बहुत ज़्यादा टेढ़ा मेढ़ा होता है, और ग्राफ्स आर नेवर परफेक्ट. लूप का पर्पस ये है कि आप एक उसको रेंज देंगे कि 100 to 150, 100 to 180, एंड लूप विल ट्राई इट्स बेस्ट टू गिव यू इंसुलिन और कट डाउन योर इंसुलिन सो दैट आपका शुगर उस रेंज के अंदर रहे. दिस इज वॉट द एंटायर लूपिंग टेक्नोलॉजी इज मेंट टू बी. दो टेक्नोलॉजी साउंड्स लाइक अ वेरी बिग डील, इतना डिफिकल्ट नहीं है. इट्स अ वेरी फेयरली इजी थिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड. पहली बार में आप थोड़ा समझ जाएंगे तो देन यू विल एग्जैक्टली गेट टू नो दैट इट्स नॉट हाउ इट साउंड्स और हाउ अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल मेक इट साउंड. लूपिंग है, कोडिंग आना चाहिए,
Yeah.
नहीं ये सब जरूरत नहीं है. इट्स अ
Right.
वेरी बेसिक थिंग. सो द स्ट्रगल इज कि अभी आप स्ट्रगल कर रहे हो एज अ पर्सन आपकी स्ट्रेट लाइन लाने के लिए. वंस यू गेट ऑन लूप आपको स्ट्रगल नहीं करना है. द मशीन, द कंप्यूटर, योर ऐप will struggle to get the
So,
straight line. So in a way your
so
effort,
yeah. Yeah,
in a
sorry,
way
I just
you
want to ask. We just got one question. So, for someone who is on syringe, right, who is on pen or syringe, right,
right.
should they first go on to a CGM? Should they first go on to a pump? And both are required, right? So,
Yes. So first, the most important is going to a pump, because learning pump itself is a slightly complicated process. पंप सीखना आपको टाइम ज़्यादा लगेगा. एक बार आप पंप के साथ कंफर्टेबल हो जाओगे तो लूप इज़ नॉट वेरी डिफिकल्ट. बट जो पंप के बेसिक टर्मिनोलॉजीज हैं, आपका एक बेजल है, आपका एक बोलस है, आपको आपकी बॉडी का बेजल समझना कि आपके बेजल रिक्वायरमेंट एवरी आवर कैसे चेंज हो रही है, आपका मील बोलस कितना है, जब तक आप वो नहीं समझोगे तब तक आप लूप पे बहुत इजीली नहीं जा सकते. बिकॉज लूप एट द एंड एक एल्गोरिदम है, उसको आप जो डेटा देते हो वो उस हिसाब से कैलकुलेट करता है. सो आपको वो डेटा, आपका कंफर्ट होना चाहिए कि यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट दैट डेटा इज गोइंग टू बी. सो अब
Great.
मैंने जैसे
Thanks.
देखा
Thanks.
कि लूप पे जो लोग आते हैं उनका नंबर वन स्ट्रगल होता है, उन्हें नहीं पता है कि कितने ग्राम कार्ब्स वो फूड में इंटेक कर रहे हैं.
Yeah.
सो समवन हु
Yeah.
इज ऑन द पंप फॉर अ गुड टाइम, फॉर देम इट बिकम्स स्लाइटली मोर इजियर.
Got it. And do I need any prior knowledge before getting on to the looping, right? Knowledge about, you mentioned the technology part about pump and syringe. What about carb counting and all that stuff, right? That also needs to be uh, aware of, right? People need to be aware of that
So
as well.
I think more than that, what people need is an understanding of how their body is working. Most people I've seen on loop, the technology is very fairly easy to use. हमारे को अगर फेसबुक चलाना आता है तो लूप तो उसके सामने कुछ भी नहीं है, 4 बटन है, उसमें से आपको एक ही बटन दिन भर यूज करना है, दूसरे बटन पे भी नहीं जाना, इतना ईजी चीज़ है. आई थिंक पीपल, वंस यू अंडरस्टैंड हाउ योर बॉडी इज वर्किंग, उसमें सबसे ज़्यादा टाइम लगता है. कार्ब काउंट आपको बस ये समझ में आना चाहिए, या वो धीरे धीरे समझ में आ जाएगा कि कौन सा फूड कार्ब है और कौन सा फूड कार्ब नहीं है. अब मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल आई हैव सीन जो कार्ब काउंट करते हैं, वो डे वन से दे आर नॉट वेरी गुड अबाउट कार्ब काउंटिंग. पहले दिन से किसी को नहीं पता होता फूड में कितने कार्ब्स हैं, वो फूड किस तरीके से रिएक्ट करने वाला है लोगों को. ये सारी चीज़ें ट्रायल एंड एरर से ही पता चलती हैं, राइट. फॉर एग्जांपल आपको लगता है कि रोटी में कार्ब्स 5 ग्राम कार्ब्स हैं, आपने 5 ग्राम कार्ब्स 10 ग्राम डाला, आपने 2 रोटी खाया, आपने 10 ग्राम कार्ब्स डाला. पर आपने देखा कि आपका लूप आपको बोल रहा है कि आपने 10 ग्राम डाला बट एब्जॉर्ब 16 ग्राम हुआ. तो आपको पता चलेगा कि
Right.
नेक्स्ट टाइम से कि मेरी रोटी में 16 ग्राम 2 रोटी में हो रहा है, विच मीन्स मेरी एक रोटी 8 ग्राम कार्ब्स के बराबर है, राइट.
Correct.
सो
And
द अंडरस्टैंडिंग इज कि मतलब कार्ब काउंटिंग, आई थिंक वो ट्रायल एंड एरर से ही कंटिन्यूअसली इट विल कीप
correct,
ऑन.
correct. So yeah, and Nimish is also saying, so we should all be aware of our ICR and insulin to carb ratio, insulin sensitivity factor.
Yes,
And I'll just put in the links here. So we have done several workshops
yes,
for both of them, and we'll just
yes,
put in our chat for anyone who's seeing. You can refer to those links where we have explained carb counting and everything in detail.
yes,
For today's workshop, just for the sake of time, we are only going to focus more on the looping part of it.
yes.
Great.
But also, Nimish, I'll tell you, carb counting and ICR, having understanding is okay. You don't need a very in-depth knowledge to be on loop. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि आपको परफेक्ट कार्ब काउंटिंग आता है, परफेक्ट आईसीआर आपने क्रैक कर लिया, बिकॉज दोज थिंग्स विथ लूप आर वेरी डिफरेंट. यू नो हाउ लूप विल
That's
फंक्शन. आप ऐसा बोलोगे कि आप जैसे पंप पे हो, आप बोलोगे मेरे को, मैं इतना खाना खाता हूँ, मेरा 50 ग्राम कार्ब्स होता है, शायद लूप में 50 ग्राम की जगह वो नंबर 40 ग्राम होगा, राइट. बिकॉज आप नंबर, इट्स ऑल अ नंबर गेम. यू नो आपने कार्ब रेशियो क्या सेट किया है, बिकॉज लूप कंट्रोल्स थिंग्स वेल, तो आपके कार्ब रेशियोज कंटिन्यूसली चेंज होते हैं, स्पेशली फर्स्ट 6 months. Because your HbA1c is coming down say from 8 to 6, suddenly your body का receptivity will change, your basals will go down, your boluses will go down. Overall आपको ये रियलाइज होगा कि आपका टोटल इंसुलिन इनटेक जो पहले समझ लीजिए 30 था, वो सडनली 20% कम हो जाएगा, अराउंड 24-25 के अराउंड आ जाएगा बिकॉज ऑफ लूप. सो all those differences will also continuously change your carb count and ICR. Hence I'm saying basic understanding कि ICR क्या होता है, that's important. बट आप अगर ये बोलोगे मैंने अपना ICR फिगर आउट कर लिया है, तो गुड चांस कि जब आप लूप पे जाओगे that ICR number might differ than what your ICR on pump earlier was.
That's true. That's true. All right. Moving to the next slide.
Yes. So, like I said, what is artificial pancreas? Like we were saying, now what it requires is these major devices. In fact, actually, I'll move to the next
Yeah.
one. So these are the larger devices which are required for looping. You
I
require
can
a
show as well. So I'm wearing this transmitter, as you can see. Uh,
yes,
यहाँ पे you can see there are different kinds of transmitter. तो मैंने अभी bubble भी है, meow meow भी है. Then you have your Riley link or an orange link, which you can see here. Then
yes,
I can show you my pump. ये pump है. right? As you can see the pump here, and the sensor which is under the transmitter here. So
Right.
these are the four things that Ritam is showing.
Right. So these are the four things which are necessary. How they work is at the center, if you see the smartphone is where your loop app is going to stay. Now, it's very simple. Your glucose sensor, it is fetching the data from your blood sugar or from your body liquids to know what your current glucose level is, right? Your transmitter is taking the number, the reading from your Libre or Libre Pro and converting it into Bluetooth. So it basically NFC reading जो आपका फ्लैश सेंसर देता है उसको ये कंटिन्यूअस ग्लूकोज मॉनिटर में कन्वर्ट करता है. सो वो आपके NFC रीडिंग को ब्लूटूथ से कन्वर्ट करके आपके फ़ोन को भेजता है. नाउ दिस प्रोसेस एज सुन एज आपका सेंसर का रीडिंग अपडेट होता है विद इन अ सेकेंड इट अपडेट्स ऑन योर ऐप. आपका ऐप जो है लूप का ऐप वो देखता है कि अभी अंदर कितना एक्टिव इंसुलिन है आपकी बॉडी में, अभी आपका शुगर लेवल कितना है, और अगर आपने रिसेंटली कोई कार्ब लिया है, इट टेक्स अ डिसीजन एंड देन इट टेल्स द पंप of how much insulin to give or how much basal to cut down, right? Now, for a smartphone to talk to a pump it's not directly possible because smartphones के ब्लूटूथ अलग रेंज पे ऑपरेट करते हैं और मेट्रॉनिक पंप्स या ओमनीपॉड के जो ब्लूटूथ रेंज है वो अलग सिक्योर्ड वे में ऑपरेट करते हैं. इसीलिए यूएस में एक राइली करके लड़की थी, उसके फादर ने एक डिवाइस बनाया था राइली लिंक करके. ये डिवाइस बेसिकली एक कन्वर्टर है. सो राइली लिंक जो है वो आपके पंप को आपका स्मार्टफोन का डेटा ट्रांसफ़र करता है. सो अभी अगर मैं आपको सिंपल बताऊं तो आपका जो सेंसर है दैट पिक्स योर डेटा, गिव्स इट टू योर फोन, फोन मेक्स द कैलकुलेशन, uses Riley link to send the data to pump and then pump takes the decision. Now everything happens in less than a second. एक सेकंड में डिसीजन यहाँ पे ग्लूकोज का नंबर आया, ऐप ने डिसाइड किया, राइली लिंक को डेटा भेजा, राइली लिंक ने पंप को कम्युनिकेट किया. नाउ द ओनली थिंग इज कि ये सब एक 10 मीटर के रेडियस में होने चाहिए, which means that most of these devices in ये सब ब्लूटूथ ऑपरेटेड हैं और लो एनर्जी ब्लूटूथ ऑपरेटेड हैं. सो दीज डिवाइसेस के नॉट बी लाइक फार अवे फ्रॉम ईच अदर. सो वो बस हमारे को देखना पड़ता है कि ये चार्ज होने चाहिए, आपके ट्रांसमीटर की बैटरी चार्ज होनी चाहिए, आपके रैली लिंक की बैटरी चार्ज होनी चाहिए, आपका पंप चार्ज होना चाहिए. ऑल्सो जब आप लूप पे आते हैं तो टिपिकली आपके पंप की बैटरी 15-20 डेज चलती है, मगर अगर आप लूप पे आते हैं तो आपके पंप की बैटरी 5 या 6 डेज ही चलेगी. तो दैट इज ऑल्सो अ डिफरेंट थिंग. सो यू हैव टू जस्ट मेक श्योर कि आपके सारे बैटरीज चार्ज हैं सो दैट यू फील चार्ज ऑल डे.
Wonderful. And
So
this pump, right? There are specific pumps which you can use for
right.
this looping, right?
So for example, when you're talking about pump, you can use Omnipod and Omnipod Dash, two pumps.
Okay.
और Medtronic में 515, 522 और 715, 722. These are the compatible pumps जो loop के साथ चलते हैं. The Riley Link device is available from USA. The person who makes it, he gives it away free of cost to people. Free of cost in the sense on the cost to cost basis. So typically
Right.
आपको Riley Link अगर आप इंडिया में मंगवाओगे तो आपको somewhere around $150 के around वो पड़ेगा, and it will take around 15 days for the device to come to reach to you.
Correct.
Typically. Now I am typically looping started, मैं अगर आपको थोड़ा सा बताता हूँ तो looping as a community started in 2018, late 2017-18 when couple of people came together. उनने सोचा कि मेट्रॉनिक जैसी बड़ी कंपनीज हैं ये तो कुछ कर नहीं रही हैं, ये लोग ये टेक्नोलॉजी 10 साल पहले डेवलप कर सकते थे, इन लोगों ने डेवलप की नहीं कभी ये टेक्नोलॉजी. उनके पास सेंसर था, पंप था, उनको इतना सब झमेला करने की ज़रूरत नहीं थी राइली लिंक और स्मार्टफोन की. बट दे सेड कि ये टेक्नोलॉजी आज के ज़माने में पॉसिबल है तो लेट अस डू इट. सो लूप की जो कम्युनिटी है वो पहले iOS पे इन लोगों ने काम करना शुरू किया, एंड iOS पे इन लोगों ने लूप का एल्गोरिदम लिखा एंड राइली लिंक डिवाइस क्रिएट किया, एंड कई महीनों तक इसको रिगरसली टेस्ट किया खुद के लव्ड वंस के अराउंड, जो उनके अराउंड टाइप वंस थे उस पर. एंड वंस दे गॉट कॉन्फिडेंट कि दिस इज़ वर्किंग रियली गुड, दैट इज़ व्हेन दे took it and made it available for anyone who wanted to buy. Like Rohan said, it's not FDA approved, which means कि if you ask me, so this technology is still not, it's not like any government acknowledges this technology. So ये पूरी एक underground community है in a way that
Right.
ये ऐप अवेलेबल नहीं है तो आपको कोड डाउनलोड करना पड़ता है, आपको कोड क्रिएट करना पड़ता है, बिकॉज इन लोगों ने iOS पे पहले शुरुआत किया था, तो जो iOS का वर्जन है वो बहुत अच्छी तरह डेवलप्ड है, उनका एल्गोरिदम काफ़ी एग्रेसिव है, सारे नए फीचर्स वहाँ पे आते हैं. सो टिपिकली आज अब एंड्रॉयड पे भी लूप अवेलेबल है एंड्रॉयड APS के नाम से. And largely Android APS as such is not more than 10% of people who are on looping, but they are also growing in a way. But iOS looping, I am a bigger fan of iOS looping because किसी के लिए भी iOS ऐप समझना बहुत ईजी है. और मोर देन दैट उनका कम्युनिटी इज़ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. मीन्स अगर आपको
Correct.
कोई भी प्रॉब्लम है, उनका ग्रुप है अराउंड 30,000 मेंबर्स का फेसबुक पे, यू कैन गो एंड
Right.
टाइप एंड विद इन 10 minutes यू विल फाइंड अ सॉल्यूशन.
Yes, but yeah, currently दोनों में possible है. I think I am
यस,
doing
दोनों
it
में
on
possible.
Android and yeah, Rhythm is more on iOS, but दोनों में possible है. But I agree the uh, iOS is much better in terms of usability, I would say.
इन टर्म्स ऑफ
Yeah.
यूजेबिलिटी, यस. पहले ऐसा था कि एंड्रॉयड में कुछ लोग बोलते थे कि एंड्रॉयड का एल्गोरिदम वाज बेटर, वो ORF 0 एल्गोरिदम पे था. बट आई डोंट थिंक सो इट मैटर्स फॉर 99% ऑफ द पीपल. लूप इज़ अ वेरी फेयरली वेरी सिंपल टेक्नोलॉजी. इट नोज आपका शुगर किधर जा रहा है, अभी कितना शुगर है और कितना इंसुलिन देना है, उतना ही कैलकुलेशन करना है उसको. सो इन अ वे आप किस प्लेटफॉर्म पे, इट डजेंट मैटर. iOS आई प्रेफर बिकॉज iOS पे लूपिंग करना इज़ वेरी इजी. मैंने कुछ लोगों को देखा है कि एंड्रॉयड पे लूप करने जाते हैं, देन दे इवेंचुअली गिव अप बिकॉज एंड्रॉयड थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट है इन टर्म्स ऑफ यूजर
Difficult, yes.
इंटरफेस.
Correct. Got it.
So Anshita is
All right.
asking, can you tell the app names again? Anshita, there are no apps as such. It's called a loop app. अगर आप loopdocs.org पे जाओगे तो आपको loopdocs पे उसका सोर्स कोड मिल जाएगा. And there is also a way of how to compile it. So आपके पास, अगर आप iOS पे करना चाहते हो आईफोन पे, तो आपको आपके पास एक मैकबुक होना ज़रूरी है, या आपके किसी फ्रेंड के पास एक मैकबुक होना ज़रूरी है. एंड
Right.
एक डेवलपर अकाउंट होना चाहिए आपके पास, जो $99 पर मंथ का हो, पर ईयर का होता है. सो दैट्स द ओनली रिक्वायरमेंट फॉर यू. अगर आप एंड्रॉयड पे करना चाहते हो तो इट्स इवन मोर इजी बिकॉज आपको डायरेक्टली APK फाइल मिल जाता है.
Correct. Correct. Android में you can get the APK file. So yeah.
यस.
Yes. We'll also share the total expenses. Moving on.
Yes. So with looping, this is something that we achieved. My wife went on some of her days where she is almost 90% time in range, and sometimes
Wow.
she is 100% time in range.
100%
And if you see, this is
yes.
90 160, this is not 80 180. So for us, abhi ke liye, this is graph is slightly old. Abhi ke liye her targets are between 100 and 140, and we are almost 80% 90% time in range within 80 within 100 140. The try is to be better, बट आप अगर समझ रहे हो तो ऑन लूप आपका डिसीजन मेकिंग बहुत कम हो जाता है. यू ओनली हैव टू टेक
Right.
डिसीजंस व्हेन यू आर टेकिंग द मील्स. आपने ब्रेकफास्ट किया, तब आपको खाली यू हैव टू एंटर द कार्ब्स. आपने जब लंच किया, डिनर किया, कोई भी एक्सटर्नल चीज़ आपने जब भी कंज्यूम किया, दैट्स द ओनली पॉइंट यू हैव टू टेक अ डिसीजन. जब आप सो रहे हो, यू डोंट हैव टू वरी अबाउट हाइपोज. जब आप एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हो, यू डोंट हैव टू वरी अबाउट हाइपोज. Most of the times loop will take care of things until and unless you go into something aggressive. Abhi, for example, if you
Correct.
start running and your body is has no sugar, loop can't do anything. वो आपका बेसल कट कर देगा, आपको इंसुलिन देना बंद कर देगा. मगर if body is itself consuming all the glucose, loop can't help then in those kind of cases. So
And
हमारे
kudos
लिए,
to yeah, and kudos to Rhythm and Megha who have been sharing looping with everyone and how it has helped everyone. So thanks Megha as well. And
anyone who wants to get on a loop can be in touch with me. I am more than happy in setting up the loop.
one,
If you have a MacBook and you have the required things, I can, from any desk, I can code it for you, whatever way it is required. So yes.
awesome, that's great. Great, Rhythm.
So
Um,
हमारे लिए one of the bigger things what a lot of caregivers have typically when kids are involved, जब kids को diaper होता है, is that typically when you go to sleep, a lot of time people wake up with hypos. I think one of the biggest and the earliest advantage जो हमने loop का देखा within the first few days was that हमारे sleep का टाइम जो था from 11 p.m. to 7 8 a.m. तक का जो टाइम था, उसमें our graph used to be exactly straight, which means,
yeah,
and then we realized that loop works perfectly fine. जब आप उसको कोई
correct,
बोलस या when you don't enter
correct,
carbs,
correct.
it is able to maintain things very nicely.
Sure.
So if you
This is
see,
what, yeah.
I will just
मैं भी
show
इसी
this.
चीज पे आ रहा था बिकॉज मेरे को डॉन फिनोमिनन का प्रॉब्लम था. सो अर्लियर आई गॉट अ पंप ताकि मैं पंप में ही उसका सुबह बेजल बढ़ा दूं. बट विद लूप नो, माय डॉन वुड बी वेरी अ स्ट्रेट लाइन बिकॉज जैसे ही मेरा वो स्पाइक करता था वो लूपिंग विद इटसेल्फ सी एंड पुट the insulin that my body requires at that point of time
Requires.
and make sure कि वो straight line. And this was a big relief for me because मैं 200 250 300 पे उठता था and now I
Right.
can wake up 120 पे 100 पे.
So
So
Mega also
yeah,
had this
like you
Dawn
said,
phenomenon.
and sleeping is a big part of your life, right? आप दिन में
Right.
8 घंटे सोएंगे 33%. So if you can get your straight lines during that time, वो आपका total time in range में it will help you a lot.
Right. Absolutely. So abhi ye this is the graph from last night uh, of sleeping. So if you see, slept at 120, woke up at 115. So
And
there is no dawn
good thing
phenomena.
is
There is
that
no
even if, yeah, like Rita mentioned, no hypo. So even if when you are getting towards the hypo, right, the pump will shut off. तो आपका basal bolus सब बंद हो गया and you will not, most of the times you won't have an hypo with you. So this is also another feature जिन लोग को रात में hypos का डर होता है.
absolutely. So, uh, I think something that loop also does is it helps you know your food better. मैंने जितने लोगों को looping के आसपास देखा लेगा, the people whom I got into looping, they were people जिनको पहले नहीं पता चलता था. उनको लगता था लो हो रहा है तो बनाना खा लेंगे, लो हो रहा है तो चिप्स खा लेंगे. Now what does looping do is it makes you conscious about your food. आपको हर बार सोचना पड़ता है कि आप खाना खा रहे हो तो ये क्या कार्ब्स है या प्रोटीन है. अगर कार्ब्स है तो ये शॉर्ट कार्ब्स हैं या लॉन्ग कार्ब्स हैं. इफ इट इज अ पिज़्ज़ा इट इज अ लॉन्ग कार्ब which means it will take 4 hours. So you will have to tell loop कि अभी मैंने पिज़्ज़ा खाया and 4 hours तक इसका शुगर रिलीज होता रहेगा. Versus if you
Right.
are say for example drinking a coke, then you know that it's a
Mhm.
short carb, so the spike will come
Mhm.
within next 30 minutes, and probably a
Right.
bottle of coke is somewhere around say 10 gram carbs or 15 gram carbs. So I think that is how largely loop will function, and for that functioning to happen you need to understand your food better. And I think that's a
Absolutely.
byproduct, which is a very good byproduct for looping, is that most people on looping they get conscious about their food choices. Then they will know कि
Correct.
अच्छा पिज़्ज़ा खाने से तो मेरा शुगर बहुत ज़्यादा खराब हो जाता है. And then loop takes more time to get it in control. So
Correct.
loop
Correct.
में
Correct.
there is this interesting feature. If you see, it tells you आपने कितने ग्राम एंटर किया था. So for example यहाँ आपको
Right.
दिखेगा 20 ग्राम एंटर किया था, 16 ग्राम एब्जॉर्ब हुआ. इफ यू सी 9:58 AM, which means ब्रेकफास्ट में. सो ब्रेकफास्ट में 20 ग्राम हमने डाला है, एंड 2 hour 41 minute में अभी तक 16 ग्राम एब्सॉर्ब हुआ है. सो नेक्स्ट डे व्हेन यू ईट द सेम ब्रेकफास्ट, on whenever next time you eat the same breakfast, you will, instead of 20 you will put 16 itself. So you will know that
Mhm.
एक bowl poha is 16 gram, it's not 20 gram. So it makes you conscious about it. If you know that
Conscious
आपने
about. Correct.
about your food, अगर आपको पता चल गया कि
Mhm.
आपने 1.5 बाउल पोहा खाया तो you will enter 24 grams directly. So that calculation becomes really simple.
Wonderful. Some people are also asking that 780G and some of the newer pumps also have this facility available, right? So
Right.
is both the same or is there anything different between the two?
So the difference is largely in terms of the algorithm that Loop uses and the one that Medtronic uses. Medtronic has been trying to be very close, but their time in range, the same people who used Medtronic pump online, if you read their blogs, same people who used Loop online, their time in range differ greatly. So that is number one thing. The second thing with 780G and looping is in terms of cost also. 780G is costly as a pump. The sensors are really costly. In looping, you can probably do that at 1/20th of the cost. So you don't need to worry about that part also at all. So I'll tell you the bigger reason is just the algorithm part, and the second reason is the cost part, which is why people go for the traditional looping methods uh, largely.
Also, we had a question about if I use Freestyle Libre 3, right, or 2, do I still need, can I remove some of the things agar directly? Then I don't need a
Yes.
transmitter, right? If I use
Then
Freestyle
you don't need
Libre
a
3,
transmitter. Yes. Yes.
but
In
I would
that
still
case,
need a Riley link, right?
you will still need a Riley link. You will not need a transmitter because the Libre 2 and Libre 3 they have inbuilt Bluetooth, which means that they directly connect to your phone. You don't need a transmitter to convert from NFC to Bluetooth. So
Understood.
yeah, that is a bigger thing. Uh,
Got it.
in
What
terms
is the
of when you are
minimum
moving
age? Got it. Thanks, Rhythm. What is the minimum age you recommend looping to start with?
See, again, I think this would be a question that a doctor or an endo would be able to answer you much better. To
Yeah.
give you an instance, right now, I'm getting loop done for a girl who is 4 year old. So she's just going to a preschool, and her parents are convinced that they want to put her on a loop. So she's already on a pump. So that is how now they are wanting to move on the loop. The only difference is that they are going to take calls on her food intake and everything. So she'll not be entering her carbs or any such thing. So they'll be setting her basal, they'll be looking at her ICR. So she'll be completely in a guided thing inside. So I don't
Great.
think so as such. See, just anyone who's on a pump can move on to loop. So if you're already on a pump, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You need to think about it. It's just an
Easy
advanced
to move to
technology
loop.
in
Yeah.
the pump ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Praveen is asking, is Liberate 2 or 3 available in India as a transmitter is not required? Praveen, Liberate 2 is available in India. I am not very sure about Liberate 3. There are people who use Liberate 3 already. I know a couple of them, but I don't know if they buy it from India or they get it
They
from
get
UAE.
imported. Yeah. It's costly.
Yeah. Pushparaj is saying, will looping help type 1 diabetes who eat high carb regularly? Pushparaj, nothing can help a type 1D who is eating high carb regularly, to be really honest. See, looping is an aiding mechanism. It's like a helper. It's not a replacement to you at all. So what looping can do is it can cut down your spikes. So if you eat high carbs and suddenly your sugar grows from 120 to say 240, loop can help you probably predict it better and bring it from 240 to 200. That is at max what loop can do if you are
Yeah.
eating high carbs regularly.
So,
Uh,
so just on that question, Rhythm, uh, loop will adjust my basal, right? Loop will also give small micro boluses, right? But
Microboluses,
loop
yes.
because of safety reasons, loop can't give a big bolus, right? That's not how loop works. To just to
It
make sure
can.
that it
It
can.
can. So yes, when you are setting it up, you can decide how much bolus you want it to give, maximum bolus. For example, if you wanted to give bolus as high as 5 or 6 or 7 units, it can also do that. But how loop will give bolus is slightly different. So for example, if loop realizes that your sugar is going way high and आपने food enter नहीं किया है, so loop को ये तो पता ही नहीं कि आपने खाना खाया है, but उसको suddenly पता चला आपका sugar 100 से 150 पहुंच गया and it is still going higher. सो लूप ने
Right.
रियलाइज किया कि मेरे को इस बंदे को 5 यूनिट देना पड़ेगा. नाउ
Right.
5 यूनिट देने के लिए जैसे हम बोलस लेते हैं तो 5 यूनिट एक बार में चला जाता है. बट लूप व्हाट इट डज इज वो टिपिकली 40% एप्लीकेशन देता है, विच मीन्स वो अभी आपको 5 यूनिट का 40% 2 यूनिट देगा. 5 मिनट्स लेटर जो आपका 3 यूनिट्स बचा उसका 40% देगा. उसके 5 मिनट्स लेटर जितना आपका टोटल बचा उसका 40% देगा. एंड टिपिकली वो 5 यूनिट वो आपको एक साथ नहीं देता माइक्रोबोलस में, इट गिव्स यू इन बिट्स एंड पीसेस. सो टिपिकली वो आपको आधा घंटे के अंदर 6 डिफरेंट बोलसेस देता है, राइट.
Okay.
So it doesn't, when it says microbolus is also divided into multiple parts. So अगर आपको ऐसा लगता है कि नहीं लूप आपको एकदम से 5 यूनिट बोलस दे देगा एंड देन सडनली विल गो इनटू हाइपो, लूप डजंट डू
Hmm.
इट. It gives
Right.
40%, then it waits for the next reading, then it gives the remaining 40%, then it waits for the next reading, and typically that's a safety mechanism that they have built inside the app itself.
Understood. Great. Loop will, yes, diabetes reverse loop is as close to maintaining your sugars in range, right? So as a
Yes,
normal person, correct? So in a way, it has what do you call kept the sugars in range.
in range.
Yeah.
There is something really good inside loop which is called temporary override. So जब हम कुछ एक्टिविटीज में जाते हैं so हमारे बॉडी को ज़्यादा ग्लूकोज की या कम ग्लूकोज की ज़रूरत पड़ती है, राइट. फॉर
Mhm.
एग्जांपल व्हेन यू आर cycling, for example, or
Mhm.
when you are doing something which is to do with weightlifting, your body will release more glucose eventually, and without you
Mhm.
putting efforts your sugars will go up. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल लूप के अंदर ऐसे ओवरराइड्स अवेलेबल हैं जहाँ पे आप उसको बोल सकते हो कि मैं 30 मिनट साइकिलिंग करूंगा, सो 30 मिनट्स के लिए मेरा ओवरऑल डोज बेसल मल्टीप्लाई इट बाई 30% हायर, राइट. सो फॉर दोज 30 minutes वो आपका टोटल बेजल अगर आपका 1 यूनिट था तो 1.3 यूनिट आपको देगा, राइट. देन फॉर एग्जाम्पल देर यू कैन क्रिएट अनदर ओवर राइड विच सेज दैट fight the low when you know that your sugars are going low and you want the loop to, or you know that in another 1 hour my sugars might go low but I will not get access to food, you can tell it fight the low, and for next 2 hours वो आपका बेसल कम कर देगा so that you don't go into a low. So you can
Wonderful.
also use such basic things which are inside
That's good.
the loop. These are like basic features to better manage things in advance when you can't pay 100% attention.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that, Ritam. Uh, we are in a process. Sachin is asking. We are in a process to upgrade the pump of my son. What is the process that we need to follow with
So
loop?
Sachin, if you are
Keeping in mind the
upgrading the
loop, yeah.
pump, if you want to go on a loop, like I said, Medtronic mein there are 4 pumps which are available: 515, 522, 715, and 722. 4 pumps which are going to be available. So first, make sure that you are going on either of these pumps if you want to loop, and then the second, if you can tell us what your sensor is, what CGM do you use. Accordingly, if you are on Libre Pro, you can get a Meow Meow 2 or Meow Meow 3, which you can order, and you can order a Riley link for the entire
Yeah.
process to begin.
Got it. I think a lot of people are still wondering as parents that do we go for these 4 pumps which are available, or do we go for a 780G, right? Which the cost will be quite a lot, right? If you
Right.
compare both. I
So,
think
like I
both of them looping will work, but in the end, it comes to the cost, right? And the learning.
I'll tell cost is of course one factor, but I'll say still a lot 780G has been there for a long time in the market, and still most people in the looping community have not left the loop app, which most people are right now doing, for the sole reason that some of them went to 780G, didn't find it as adaptive or as great at controlling it what loop was, and then came back to looping. Like I told, loop ka algorithm is its biggest advantage. It is something that most companies, especially 780G, hasn't been able to replicate itself, and hence that is what makes loop far more superior. In a lot of Western countries, जहाँ पे people get their pump from the insurance or the government takes care of the cost, they can easily afford 780G, but they have still not gone to 780G for the simple reason क्योंकि ये loop app works much better, has many more functionalities. आपके पास overrides available हैं, आपके पास you have much better carb counting which happens, carb absorption ratios आपको बताता है. So lot of things which are better than 780G as such in terms of technology. So if you compare it technology to technology, that way also loop as a technology and as an algorithm is better than 780G. Just to give you a perspective about why
Wonderful.
most of the people who have free access to pump are not moving to 780G right now.
Kunal का क्वेश्चन है, will my insulin dose increase if I start looping? क्या मेरा daily insulin बहुत बढ़ जाएगा?
नहीं कुणाल, इनफैक्ट मोस्ट पीपल जो लोग लूपिंग पे जाते हैं उनका इंसुलिन कम हो जाता है फॉर अ सिंपल रीज़न, बिकॉज आपका पंप आपकी बॉडी को हर 5 मिनट में एक एक्स अमाउंट ऑफ इंसुलिन देता था विदाउट नोइंग व्हाट द शुगर इज. पंप द लूप विल कैलकुलेट एंड गिव. सो अगर आपकी बॉडी को ज़रूरत नहीं है तो वो लूप आपको उतना इंसुलिन नहीं देगा. सो टिपिकली व्हाट आई हैव सीन इज दैट जब आप लूप पे मूव करते हैं तो आपकी इंसुलिन रिक्वायरमेंट पहले वीक में अराउंड 10% एंड ओवरऑल इन अ लॉन्गर टर्म अराउंड 20% कम हो जाती है. सो ऑन अ लूप यू आर मच better in terms of not taking extra insulin that you are taking when you are on the pump.
Right, we can do a session with someone who is using 780 also later on. तो आपके जो भी
Yes.
780 के सवाल हैं, I think we can take that there. We can also share the link to buy Meow Meow in the comments, and the Riley link I can see it's already shared.
Yes.
So like Ritam has mentioned, there are so many benefits of looping, right? And family is very free as mentioned, right?
I think
How
one
has
of the
how has
biggest thing,
looping helped you, Ritam, in terms of uh, before looping and after looping as a caregiver, right? How did it?
yes. So it made life easier because there is less to worry about. You know that when you are not paying attention, when the type 1 diabetic is not paying attention, there is someone who is still at work. You know, कोई तो पीछे background में काम कर रहा है to make sure that your your sugars are in range. And I think that is the biggest understanding, that things will not go wrong. Like I said, when we went to move to looping, हम लोगों ने नाइट स्काउट पे डिस्कवर किया. And night scout is a very powerful tool because it helps everyone understand, and so you can share that link with family, with doctors, and everyone gets an idea about how to, what the patient is going to every minute. Like every 5 minutes you will get to know about their sugar,
Yeah.
their carbs, what did they intake, all those details. So I think that is also a great thing. So in a way, knowing that someone is helping, technology is at work, knowing that you can check their sugar from whatever part of the world you are, it's very easy, that in a way you are very worry free compared to earlier. So पहले भी पंप पे कई बार हाइपो चला जाता था. हाइपो गैस करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट है. यू डोंट हैव अ सीजीएम, सो यू हैव टू फिंगर ब्रेक, देन यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट दैट अरे अभी तो मेरा 72 हो गया, then run and get glucose. Api everything is running on alarms. Then loop 3 even comes with even better set of alarms. So suddenly you,
Yeah.
the moment your sugar goes below 80, वो आपके सारे केयर गिवर्स को मैसेज पे पहुंचा देता है दैट शुगर इज राइट नाउ बिलो. सो यू डोंट इवन नीड टू गो टू
Wonderful.
नाइट स्काउट. सो दे हैव मेड टेक्नोलॉजी इवन मोर easier in a way. So
Easier and
especially for
accessible to
parents,
everyone. Yeah.
yes, especially for
Yeah.
parents जहाँ पे kids are at school, I think they don't need to worry about what the kid is eating, because Loop will take care. Even if the kid doesn't enter the carbs, Loop will understand that the sugars are rising, and eventually it will give you enough insulin to bring them down.
Correct. You become worry free, right? As Rita mentioned, क्योंकि मेरे साथ भी मतलब कभी कुछ we all tend to make some mistakes, right? आज नहीं तो कभी किसी ना किसी चीज में, तो एक as a backup loop उसको संभाल लेता है, I would say.
Right. Absolutely. Harshit is asking how much extra weight is the Riley Link going to add. Harshit, the Riley Link is not more than 15 to 20 ग्राम. वो आपके एयरपॉड से भी लाइट वेट होता है, तो डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. Now
And
something
this needs to be Riley link का distance कितना होता है? Like does it have to
up
be in my pocket all the time, or I can keep it in my
up
room?
to up to 10 meters ideally. उससे ऊपर, so अब लो energy Bluetooth जो है, it doesn't work beyond 10 meters. So ideally it should be in the same room as you. So your pump, your Riley Link, and your Meow Meow and your phone, all four of them need to be in the same room, for sure.
Got it.
Yes. Now,
Uh,
something that I absolutely love about looping, and I think this is the biggest advantage over any other product in the market, is the loops community. And I love their hashtag. It's called "We Are Not Waiting." Like I said, looping started because people realized कि बड़े companies के पास इतना पैसा है, but वो लोग looping लाना ही नहीं चाहते. 780G came 4 years after loop came. मतलब आप सोचो कि इतने मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स डालने के बाद मेट्रोनिक और रोबोट वो टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं बना पाए जो 4 टाइप 1 डायबिटिक्स के केयर गिवर्स ने मिलकर बना लिया पूरा का पूरा. एंड द एंटायर, आई थिंक द इंटेंशन बिहाइंड लूपिंग हैज बीन सो नोबल, and people have been so helpful that when we moved to looping, I think we were amongst the initial 3 4 5 people in India who would be on looping. So barely anyone who was able to help us. किसी के पास, like there was a guy called Anirudh from Bangalore who was the only one who we knew जो looping पे था, तो he used to help us back and forth with some or the other things, but again his knowledge was limited. So अगर हमारे को, for example, sometimes we felt that there was a roadblock, हमें समझ नहीं आता था, तो हम लोग जाके आंसर क्वेश्चन पूछते थे फेसबुक ग्रुप पे लूप के, एंड विद इन एन आवर 11-12 कमेंट्स आ जाते थे. एंड देन वी रियलाइज दिस इज अ वेरी गुड थिंग, बिकॉज इतना अच्छा सपोर्ट सिस्टम तो डॉक्टर के साथ भी नहीं मिलता आपको. यू कांट कॉल योर डॉक्टर 10 times a day when you have question, but you can post your 10 times a day, and people from across the world will reply. And I think one very specific story I remember from that time is there was a girl who went to Siberia on a travel. सो वो साइबेरिया में ट्रेवल करने गई हैं, एंड उनके नियरेस्ट जो टाउन है दैट इज 400 miles अवे, वो जहाँ ट्रेवल कर रही हैं, एंड वहाँ पे शी लॉस्ट हर राइली लिंक. सो उनका राइली
right.
लिंक डैमेज हो गया आइस में, या शी लॉस्ट इट,
Right.
समथिंग हैपेंड, एंड शी पुट अ मैसेज ऑन द लूप ग्रुप saying that I don't have a rally link, can anyone help? You won't believe someone drove overnight to make sure that she gets her Riley link by the next day. Another person from the same community who had a extra Riley link. So I think that is what people, this entire community is all about. That if you get stuck, there is going to be someone who's going to help you make sure that things are not as difficult. ऐसा लूप, लाइक आई
That
सेड, लूप को सीखना बहुत डिफिकल्ट नहीं है, बट पहले 15 दिन आपको आपका फूड समझने में टाइम लगता है ज़्यादा.
that's great. I think we have few questions. How does Riley Link communicate to the pump? Which communication technology?
So Riley Link uses Bluetooth Low Energy to communicate to the pump. Uh, so everything works on Bluetooth. You don't low energy typically because you don't need to frequently charge them. That's the reason.
Meera has mentioned Orange Link runs on batteries. Orange Link में आपके सेल डलते हैं, and these are the rechargeable cells that I
Cells,
use.
yes.
जी,
So
correct.
Riley Link को आपको रोज रात को चार्ज करना पड़ता था, and hence the same Riley Link team came up with a better product called Orange Link, जिसमें you can put the AAA size cell and it typically works for good 10-15 days. So रोज recharge नहीं करना पड़ता, 10-15 days में you need to recharge it once.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. So
so
a lot of people asking what is the cost for looping. So I have
correct.
put it down. So if you are looping on iOS, uh, Riley Link will come around $150, which is उसके over and above in case अगर आपका
I-
कहीं कस्टम में अटकता है तो कस्टम का कॉस्ट भी
Custom
ऐड
and
होता है.
shipping मिला के, I think for me it costed around 20,000 to get the Riley Link.
20,000. Okay. So we
सब
got
मिला
it
के.
for somewhere around 14,000 का, twice we got it. So $150 का अराउंड राइली लिंक का कॉस्ट है, $150 का अराउंड म्याओ म्याओ का ट्रांसमीटर का कॉस्ट है, एंड $99
म्याओ
का
3
एप्पल
will
का.
cost including shipping और वो सब करके अभी आपको म्याओ 3 पड़ेगा 23-24,000.
राइट राइट. एंड एप्पल डेवलपर अकाउंट जो है दैट कम्स फॉर $99. आप
So Ritam, is this developer account needed or can I share your account as well?
No, so the developer account is needed. It is very important because for only a single loop app can be developed on a single developer account. So developer account mein once you pay, you can use the app for 99 for 365 days, and at the end of 365 days, you need to renew your Apple developer account and you need to use the new certificate to sign your new app also. So
So,
आपको हर साल में एक बार ऐप कंपाइल करना पड़ेगा.
so this $99 is only one-time cost for the developer account.
It's an annual cost, and every year you have to pay it
Annually,
once.
you have to pay $99.
Pay $99. Yes.
And for Android, it's this cost is not there because Android may
Yes.
you get the application and you just have to install it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Right.
And
Harshit is
as you
asking what
mentioned,
is the role of Riley Link. Harshit, the phone cannot directly communicate with the pump because they are on two different codecs. So Riley Link takes the orders from the smartphone and it communicates the same to the pump in terms of converting the Bluetooth signal also. So that's how it typically works.
ख्याति यू कैन यूज एन एंड्रॉयड डिवाइस. मैं अभी एक एंड्रॉयड डिवाइस ही यूज कर रहा हूँ. ये रहा वो एंड्रॉयड डिवाइस. एज यू कैन सी मेरा ये चल रहा है और मैं बहुत क्लोज हूँ बट हाइपो में नहीं होगी. ग्रेट. तो यस, दैट विल सेव यू ऑन द $100 कॉस्ट पर ईयर. इसके अलावा और कोई कॉस्ट प्रीतम? आई थिंक फॉर द सेंसर द कॉस्ट इज देयर, राइट? आपको सेंसर
द
का पे करना
सेंसर,
पड़ेगा.
यस. आपका जो सेंसर है, आई थिंक टिपिकली अगर आप लिब्रे प्रो पर हो तो 14 डे सेंसर विल कॉस्ट यू समवेयर अराउंड 2500 राइट नाउ, which means
Yeah.
monthly your bill would be somewhere around 5,000 rupees for sensor. So annually that would be somewhere around 60,000 additionally in
And
terms of your
your
sensor.
pump cost would also be around 3,000 at least a month, apart from the जो
The
patches and all
yes,
that.
the patches, your
So
insulin, everything. Yes.
so आपका पर और डेवलपर अकाउंट के $99 हैं, तो I can say 5,000-6,000 a month, 5,000 a month for not 5,000, 1,000 a month for developer account or
For
something,
developer
right?
account, roughly yes.
So
So but it is
less than
still cheaper than.
10,000. Recurring cost would be around 8 or 9,000 a month.
Yes. Roughly around 8 to 9,000 a month.
And उसके अलावा you have your insulin cost as well, which will also be around 3,000
Yes.
a month, right?
Absolutely. Varun is asking, is it possible to change directly from MDI to loop with pump, or should I try pump first and then start looping? Varun, I will highly recommend to first get acquainted to pump, use it for a couple of months, and then jump to looping, because pump itself is a complicated thing to understand. Once you understand the basic concepts of how a pump works, then looping will become much easier for you. So,
Correct. And
so
in fact, when you use a CGM also, right, you'll understand how different foods you are reacting to your sugar. So both there is a
yes,
learning curve with both CGM and pump. First
and
use
pump.
that, and then as Rita mentioned, then you can move on to looping.
Yes.
Mohit is asking, would you recommend Android Loop or iOS based on your experience? I know Ritam, you have already answered iOS, but just
Yes. So Mohit, again, like personally, iOS, because it's very intuitive, very easy to use. So even a 10-year-old kid can easily understand what's happening on an iOS loop. And for caregivers also, it is easy. Android loop is slightly complicated in terms of its user interface, which is the only thing. So iOS में मेहनत आपको पहली बार कोडिंग करना पड़ता है टू मेक द ऐप, जो एंड्रॉयड में नहीं करना पड़ता है. बट एंड्रॉयड में एवरी डे देर इज your understanding of the app, it requires slightly better technological understanding, is what I largely have seen.
yes. ख्याति का सवाल है, इंसुलिन कैलकुलेशन डन इन स्मार्टफोन और इन राइली लिंक भी लो इज ओनली वर्क्स एज कनेक्टिंग ऑल द
Yes.
कैलकुलेशंस हैव हैपेंड इन द ऐप.
So Khyati, Riley Link is just like an antenna, right? It's like a Wi-Fi router जैसे होते हैं वैसे it's a Bluetooth router. So सारा calculation phone के अंदर ही होता है when you are on the loop. So you don't have to, like Riley Link is only taking orders from your phone and giving it to the pump. Phone बोलता है 2 यूनिट इंसुलिन दे दो, Riley Link pump को बोल देता है कि 2 यूनिट इंसुलिन दे दो. It's as simple as that. उसके सिवाय there is nothing else that Riley Link does. So your phone is where the loop app is, and that is where the algorithm is functioning every second.
Anshika is asking, would the Vipsomed pump available for around 2.53 lakh work with looping? The current Vipsomed pump doesn't work with looping. जो available है, they are in the process of building one which will work, but अभी current वाला नहीं है looping.
Right.
Komal is asking, is looping good for T1s who are not clear on the basics of management? I think, yes, Ritam has already mentioned that first you need to understand the management, and anything you would like to add to that, Ritam?
So the learning curve will reduce greatly. There was a young girl I put on looping couple of months back, and she was not very well acquainted to the pump. So उसने pump पे shift किया, and within 15 days she came to loop. So she used to call me every day and ask me ये कैसे होता है, ये कैसे होता है. And then I realized कि her problem was not looping, her problem was she didn't understand the pump at all. She didn't know कि basals कैसे काम करते हैं, temporary basal क्या होता है. So hence, if you know the pump well, if you know your food well, looping is going to be an advanced step into that management. बट अगर आप सीधा लूपिंग पे चले जाओगे, इट्स लाइक आपने 12th स्टैंडर्ड के बाद सीधा एमबीए करने की बात कर ली, ऐसा. सो नॉट दैट नहीं कर सकते, बट अगर आप बीबीए करके एमबीए करना होगे तो इट्स मच मोर इजियर. सो you know what terminologies are going to be there.
That's a great example, Ritam.
So Khyati is
Alright.
asking, is there any chance that it can damage the insulin pump? No, Khyati, it cannot damage the insulin pump. So
One thing,
loop, yeah,
but it will take a lot of battery once you start looping, right? So आपका जो pump का जो battery है जो आप बहुत दिनों बाद change करते थे, after looping you'll have to change it more often.
right,
That is the only difference that you will see.
yes.
But that
Harshit is
doesn't
saying,
affect the life of the pump. Yeah.
right. Varun is asking which is the best pump available. I think Varun, like I said, Medtronics में 515, 522, 715, 722, these pumps the companies are phasing out right now. So अगर आपको लेना है तो you might easily right now get it from a distributor जिसके पास last का stock पड़ा होगा. But once the company phases out, which is in next 2 to 3 months, then these pumps will become even more difficult to procure. But अभी looping
Ritam,
in India, yeah.
yeah, sorry. Would you suggest someone to buy a pump out of warranty? इन्हीं चार मॉडल में से अगर कोई out of warranty है 4 साल बाद, would you suggest them to get it?
Yeah, it's a tricky question because pump is a very costly thing. So typically warranty के बाहर लेना doesn't make sense. But looping is equally advantageous thing. So I would say that if you are very, you are like very solidly convinced about looping, then I would say that you can take that kind of a risk.
I
Which
would
is
also
that.
suggest because usually pump चल जाते हैं आपके 8 साल, right?
Huh.
Very rarely
Typically
you will
pumps
see
are
that.
like we have been using for 10 and a half years now. एंड हम लोगों ने एक बैकअप पंप लेके रखा हुआ है इन केस इट वर्क्स. दोनों पंप वारंटी के बाहर हैं, but both the pumps are functioning normally, so we have not seen that
Wonderful.
problem as such. But there are a lot of people who are also selling their old pump. जब कोई 680 या 780G पे मूव करता है तो वो अपने 7 वो अपने 722 715 they typically uh, they
Correct.
want to sell them out, so you can also use those into this. I also have a couple of myths that people have about looping,
Yeah.
which I
Go ahead.
put here. So people say that a lot of people I've seen, these are not myths, this is something that I've gone through, where people said अभी मैंने loop लगा लिया, now I don't need to worry. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. Loop can eventually relieve your stress because you know that every 5 minutes someone else is taking decisions on your behalf. But you can't forget about your diabetes because you still need to manage your meals. You need to count your carbs, tell your app how many carbs, and it will take couple of months to couple of years before you become perfect at your carb counting. You know, again, along with your age, along with your hormones, your carb intakes keeps on changing. The way your body processes your carbs also keeps on changing. So I think that is all that you will need to learn as a part of this. So yes, you don't need to worry every few minutes about your hypos and hypers, which is the best thing that loop technology does. But yes, you cannot forget about your diabetes. Also, another myth is that people think that loop is only for people who understand technology because there is some coding and all those things which are involved. Uh, Loop is not for it's like a lot of people think that it's not for people who don't understand technology. ऐसा भी नहीं है.
Right.
Probably the first few days or first few time of coding or those things might take some understanding. नहीं आता तो don't worry, you can reach out to me if you need any help in looping it. But टेक्नोलॉजी का अंडरस्टैंडिंग का जरूरत नहीं है. अगर आपको फेसबुक चलाना आता है तो आपको लूप चलाना तो आ ही जाएगा. आई कैन लाइक अश्योर यू अबाउट समथिंग लाइक दिस. पीपल
लूप
ऑल्सो
की
लॉट
ऐप
ऑफ
बिल्ड
पीपल.
करने में थोड़ा टेक्नोलॉजी लगता है शुरू में. आई थिंक विच रीतम इज देयर टू हेल्प अस. उसके अलावा while using the loop it doesn't require a lot of technology. Only while building you just require some help. That's it.
Right. Yes. Also, a lot of people think that loop can put into hypos. I think the best thing that loop does is it saves you from hypos. It can tell you when a hypo
Yeah,
is going to happen. So don't worry
correct.
about looping. It will, if your basals are correctly adjusted, it will never put you into hypo. Also, a lot of people tell me कि basal कैसे adjust करना है. Loop के अंदर there is a great technology which Night Scout के अंदर there is a great tool which is available for your basal management. आप
Correct,
15 दिन
correct.
का डेटा उसको दोगे, वो आपको आपके बेजल्स करेक्ट
आपको
करके
बता
बता देगा.
देगा.
राइट, इट विल टेल यू. इट्स कॉल्ड लूपलाइजर इनसाइड नाइट स्काउट.
हम्म,
वो आपके 15 डेज के नाइट स्काउट के डेटा से इट विल टेल यू आपका बेजल ऐसे एडजस्ट करना है. यू कैन वेरी इजीली टेक दैट बेजल, पुट योर इनटू योर पंप एंड
yeah,
95% ऑफ योर जॉब विल बी डन देयर. फिर अगर माइनर ट्वीक करना
correct.
है तो यू हैव टू डू इट. बट the technology has made things so easy that you don't even have to worry about calculating your basals. So आपके अभी जो pump के basals हैं, you can bring those basals on loop, and then
Yeah,
within
and
few
then you
days
can correct
Loopalizer will help
it
you
easily.
correct it away. The fourth thing that a lot of people also keep on talking about, I have heard people calling me just day before yesterday. There was a call and this lady was like, "But loop legal नहीं है ना?" Loop legal नहीं है, but illegal भी नहीं है. There is a new thing which is coming up. The same team जिसने loop बनाया था, now they are making a thing called Tide Pool, which is same loop का advanced version, which is FDA approved. Right now, it has got the first clearance from FDA for this, and I think by end of this year वो commercially available होगा. Which means that same algorithm दूसरे नाम से FDA approved है, तो it's not that it's
Right,
not
right.
illegal.
Correct.
But in a way, looping is also something which is not coming from some of the best medically tested companies. So it's not like a company made a loop device, tested it on 1,000 people, and then
Right.
it's bringing to market. So when you are coming on looping, be very sure that it's risky. Uh, in a way, not that any one of us has felt a risk, but in a way, like in a larger way, how do I explain it?
It's a-
So looping
Yeah,
is you when you sign up for looping, you are also taking that risk that you are giving the
correct.
control of your sugars to an
जैसे
external technology.
it's like swimming, right? There is a risk of drowning as well, but आप
Right, very
swimming
well said.
सीखते हो and then slowly you start with shallow, then you go into deep. So उस हिसाब का process है looping में भी. हर्षित का
Absolutely.
एक सवाल है, if there is a malfunction or crash on the app, and is it easy to immediately switch to manual pump mode or lot of calculation is required? So हर्षित, मैं बाहर गया था, so I didn't wanted to carry my Riley link with me. तो मैंने लूप को घर पे रखा and I was using my pump manually and जिस हिसाब से मुझे बोलस चाहिए था मैं उस हिसाब से लेता हूँ. तो this is also there, like you can easily switch between your looping to your manual pump as well if you need it. Anything to add to
Right.
that, Ritam? Yeah.
No,
कि
I think what you said completely makes sense. You know, typically malfunction and crash होता नहीं है ऐप के अंदर. You can just kill the app and get it back. But even if it happens, you can very easily switch to manual. For example, even if you kill the app, you can still take your boluses from the pump itself. जब भी आपका ऐप चालू होगा, the sync will automatically happen. So your app will already know कि आपने pump से जो insulin लिया था, that will reflect in the app itself.
So Ritam, sometimes what I do is कि loop will take some time, right? वो अपना बोलस एडजस्ट करेगा या मैं सुबह के टाइम में मैं डायरेक्टली पंप लूपिंग ऐप से या फिर अपने पंप से बोलस दे देता हूँ. लाइक इफ आई एम एट अ हायर लेवल आई विल डायरेक्टली गिव माई सेल्फ 2 यूनिट या 1 यूनिट जितना मुझे चाहिए rather than waiting for loop to correct it. Is that right?
हाँ, so you can do that. But see, again I said loop को एक ही इनपुट, उसके पास दो इनपुट होने चाहिए. एक आपका ब्लड शुगर जो उसको सेंसर से मिलता है, और दूसरा आपका करंट कार्ब इनटेक, राइट. सो आप जितना ज़्यादा डेटा उसको आपके कार्ब इनटेक का दोगे, उतना
Correct.
इजीली इट विल फंक्शन.
It will
If you
more learn.
directly, like, it will learn, it will function, it will calculate. Because if you see loop app में, the number one thing on the top is active carbs, how many active carbs you have right
Correct.
now, you know. So
Correct.
only on basis of that it takes future decisions for next 6 hours. Just for people, मैं आपको समझाता हूँ कि लूप ऐप करंट टाइम के हिसाब से नहीं चलता है, वो नेक्स्ट 6 आवर्स का प्रेडिक्शन लेके चलता है. सो वो ये
Right.
देखता है कि अभी आपने जो कार्ब्स लिया, इसको किल करने में मुझे कितना
Right.
टाइम लगेगा. सो वो 6 आवर्स का
Right.
प्रेडिक्शन करता है. जब आप डायरेक्टली आपका बोलस एंटर कर देते हो, सो लूप ऐप को पता नहीं चलता कि आपने कार्ब्स लिया है वो शॉर्ट टर्म कार्ब्स है या लॉन्ग टर्म कार्ब्स है. सो इवेंचुअली वी आर कंफ्यूजिंग द एल्गोरिदम इन अ वे. इट्स नॉट
Right. Like even if you are taking it manually, you should at least put the number क्योंकि वो
राइट.
कैलकुलेशन तो आ जाएगा लेकिन आपको कार्ब्स बता देने चाहिए उसको कि
राइट. सो आपको
Yeah.
कार्ब्स, आप जैसे हम लोगों ने घर पे ही आदत डाला है कि अगर एक टॉफी भी खाया ना 5 ग्राम का 3 ग्राम का, तो हम उसमें 3 ग्राम बता देते हैं. So
Okay.
that you are not putting an algorithm into a jeopardy where it's confused कि ये अचानक से शुगर राइज कहाँ से हुआ, right? So it knows कि 3 ग्राम का आया है. Even if sugar didn't increase, it will know that वो बेसल को temporary
Fine.
cut कर सकता है.
Quickly taking some questions. पंप के बारे में बता दिया है कौन से पंप है. टाइड पूल इज ऑलरेडी देयर. सो you can also share data on tide pool, right, from the sensor, Ritam?
You can share data on Tidepool, but with the Tidepool app now coming in place, I think Tidepool and Loop will eventually merge in next couple of months.
ख्याति कस्टम क्लियरेंस में प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता है. आई थिंक यू इवेंचुअली गेट इट. थोड़ा टाइम लगता है पर मिल जाता है. और वो हर स्टेट का अलग अलग रहता है.
Okay.
Harshit is
Harshit
asking,
yeah.
yeah.
If the crash happens when the bolus is taken, don't worry. You can go to your pump in the bolus history and you can check how much bolus was given. So whatever is happening on the app, उसका एक कॉपी हमेशा पंप में रहता है. So if you take bolus from pump, ऐप को पता चल जाएगा. अगर आप ऐप से लोगे, पंप को पता चल जाएगा. So don't worry about it. App crashing typically doesn't happen, and I haven't heard anyone जिनका ऐप randomly crash हो जाता है.
हुआ
So
नहीं है
I
ऐसा
don't think so.
क्रैश. I haven't
I
seen
don't
it.
think
Yeah.
so. It's going to be a problematic thing.
Great.
On iOS, I know that if you are right now on iOS 16, so आपको ऐप वापस से build करना पड़ेगा, because most apps up till Loop 2.9 they were
Right.
made for iOS 15. So आप Loop उसको iOS 16 पे लाते हो, तो you have to just rebuild it. Otherwise, there are a couple of bugs which come here and there.
Great. And we'll also make a looping thread and we'll put Ritam will also be there. So all of your questions can be answered there as well. And thank you so much, Ritam, for taking time from your busy schedule and
My
sorting
pleasure.
so many of our questions on looping, right? I think it's people always want to know more about looping, and it's a wonderful technology, right, which helps you mimic the pancreas behavior, and everyone should have access to it, right? If
Absolutely. I think and the sole thing that a technology was made for the first time, keeping people like us in mind, keeping in mind that we can't spend tons of money, keeping in mind that our number one was struggle was to manage our blood sugars, and someone made it with that kind of an intention. I think that that says a lot about the technology itself. So I've also put the link to the Loop group. You can, in case even if you want to come on Loop couple of months later, you can join the group. You can see the kind of discussions which happen there. Very interesting discussions. People share really good case studies about how their HbA1c. To give a personal example, my wife's HbA1c when we went on looping was 11.1, and from 11.1, 6 months later we came down to 7.3, and another 3 months later, right now we are at 6. So 3 months later we came down
Wow.
at 6. So typically in 7 to 8 months we went from 11.1 to 6, and we are consistently at
Wow.
6 right now, which is almost like close to, except for month में एक बार जब we suddenly hit 250 300 कभी, otherwise it's like very close to how a normal pancreas would have worked otherwise.
Sure. Guys, we'll share all the links and सब कुछ हम share कर देंगे. So we have just run over time. And thank you so much, Ritam. I think we will solve all the queries जो भी हैं आपकी. And thanks for your time again, Ritam.
Absolutely. Just
See
one
you
more
guys
thing.
next
If
week.
and
Yeah.
any of you want to join Loop, want to build Loop for yourself, have any queries, you can reach out to me on Facebook, on Instagram, through
Wonderful.
Rohan, through Nupur, through BCDF, or WhatsApp, any other way. I'm more than interested. I have kept my Sunday mornings for helping people with
Wow.
loops as such. So
Thanks a lot,
please
Ritam.
make sure. If you have devices in place, I can also guide you about how to do it. But I love to see that people having those straight graph. So like let's
That's
try and
that's
have a straight graph for everyone.
that's really we are grateful to you, Ritam. That's really good. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week for another workshop. Bye.
Thank you.